I'm so excited I finally got to try out one of my transfer sheets from my light and color listing on Etsy. I've been wanting to try out this cutter from Kyoker, so I picked my sheet that I felt would complement this cutter the best. And then I get to work conditioning my clay. This clay was quite difficult to condition. That's always a fun time. But after about 25 minutes, I finally had clay that was ready to go. I went super thin with the slab, a number 5 on my Atlas machine. Since I'm using translucent clay, if I get my slab nice and thin, light can pass through easily. Then it's time to rinse the paper off of the clay. I've gotten so many comments. One was, "Your drains must hate you." I am happy to report that my relationship with my sink drain is perfect. Now with this transfer sheet, it's pretty heavy with ink, which makes it harder to remove all of the paper. For transfers like this, I plan on using UV resin or many layers of my varnish to get a nice smooth finish. After I prepped the glass, I started making my stone. I used some granite clay and a texture roller, and then we can finally cut the frame of our window. This part does take a lot of patience. You want to use a ton of cornstarch, and I like to use my acrylic roller to gently tap the cutter. Still, with the thickness of the clay, it's difficult to get a perfect cut, so we go in and clean it up afterwards. After carefully cleaning up all the edges, I prepared to put the frame on the glass. Now, I had a hard time deciding how I wanted to do this in the moment. I thought a thick layer of translucent clay would help make everything even and also get the clay to adhere nicely. But then I decided I wanted to fill in those spaces with UV resin, so I tried to use a little bit less on the other pieces. Now I wanted to try out something new for me, and that was adding some moss to this piece. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, so I only did it on one set. Spoiler, I loved it, and I wish I did it on all of them. And then I decided to add some teeny tiny flowers, and I textured them like roses, which I think turned out really cute. Now the one thing I didn't account for was translucent clay with regular clay. So I knew I had to bake it for the translucent clay or it would burn. So my hope was that even though the regular clay couldn't cure 100%, that the translucent clay and the UV resin would help add some durability. In the future, I'm going to explore some options to bake them separately and then adhere them together after baking. So I had a few troubles along the way and some things that didn't turn out perfectly, but overall I'm so happy with how they turned out. They are so pretty. And I'm just so happy I finally got to use one of those transfer papers and this cutter.